Woo! What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to Chill to Action on the Call to Action Network. It's me, your girl, Danielle here. Welcome back, y'all. Thank you, thank you. I am here once again with my favorite co-host, Mr. Paul DiNuzzo.
It's me. It's PLD. What's going on, everybody? Good to be here.
That's right. And we have, once again, one of the favorite members of the Call to Action podcast, one of our favorite co-hosts and our guest tonight, Mr. Billy Belford.
Woo-hoo!
PLD is not a thing.
It is definitely a thing now.
It's a thing. It's sort of,
It's a weird thing.
It's a
real
thing.
weird, bro.
I'm a weird guy. What do you want to say?
And tonight, y'all, we are super pumped and so proud to have, for the first time on Call to Action, on Chill to Action, one of the favorites of the Call to Action podcast, my lovely little snuggle bug, Mrs. Silvestrini.
Hi, guys. I love that you threw in the misses. That was kind of adorable.
Yeah, like I slipped of the tongue for just a quick second.
True once upon a time.
Ooh,
True to life, I think Rachel has probably logged more hours than some of our hosts.
Well, I mean, if you count New Year's Eve, then yeah, probably.
on New Year's Eve.
Both on and off screen. Like
that's a funny thing people don't know. It was a 5-hour stream, and then after it was over, we ended up being on screen for like 3 hours.
Another 3 hours. Yeah.
Oh
I cooked. Like I was making food with you guys at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
That definitely has to go down as one of the best episodes of Ladies Night ever, if not the absolute best episode of Ladies Night.
I mean, we might have to top it for Valentine's Day. And do like a Galentine's Day episode.
Galentine's Day.
Just saying. I mean, I know it's in like 2 weeks, but still.
I mean, that's fine. We can always figure that stuff out.
You know me. Give me 5 minutes notice.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being a part of Chill to Action. Now, when you were on Ladies Night, there was a little bit of weird confusion about whether or not you have been on Chill to Action or not. But this is your first official appearance on Chill.
Excellent. It's been a long time since I've had a first, so this is fun.
Yeah, you're first.
Sorry, guys. I'm feeling a little sassy tonight.
It's late. We're sorry for starting late, y'all. That is completely 100% my bad. Totally apologize. My bad. But Rachel, your first appearance, whenever you were talking about that, you were the very first guest on Ladies Night.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was
all I know is I get to hang out with you guys all the time, so that's all that really matters.
It all blends after.
It just. Oh, I love Chris. Chris Adams says 8 hours of Rachel Silvestrini is still not enough. Some would argue that, but I love you for saying that.
I'm in agreement.
I 100% agree. I am a big fan, Rachel. Thank you so much. So, Rachel, really quickly, the very first question that we always like to ask everyone coming on Chill to Action is, of course, why Schmoedown? How did you get involved? What got you into the Schmoedown?
Short answer, Makuga. Long answer, I went to a WonderCon in 2017. And as everybody does before they go to conventions, you read, whatever, like the list and schedule of panels. And so I was perusing it one night, a few nights before the con, and all of a sudden you just see Schmoedown. I'm like, what? Can I swear? Sorry.
Yeah, you swear.
What the fuck is a Schmoedown? And the first line is, have you ever wondered what movie trivia would be like with the competitiveness of UFC and the theatrics of WWE? And I was like, tell me more.
Tell me more.
So I went to the panel. I was literally at the con by myself because I was in town on tour with An American in Paris, and everybody had to work that day. So it was my birthday present from my assistant and my best friend to have that whole weekend off. So they covered the shifts for me, and I got to drive down to Anaheim and hung out, and it was amazing. And then I went to the panel, and it was packed, and I walked straight to the front, turned around, and there were 3 empty seats with 2 purses on them. And I ended up sitting next to Wendy Lee Zaney. And my now manager, Grace Hancock.
Oh.
And I had no idea what was going on. And then the lights dimmed and they did the introductions, and like Harloff and Campia were on stage, like introducing the season. And then they introduced like Roca and they played music and he came out wearing a belt. And I was just like a kid in a candy store. I was like, this is everything I could have ever asked for in my life that I didn't know I needed to ask for. And then they did like, you know, they were smack talking and the fans were standing in line and like giving them more shit than I thought that any fan ever had a right to give a complete stranger.
If
Like-
that's not the story of Schmoedown.
Like, I get it now, but like at the time I was like, dude, that's really fucked up. Like, that's personal shit. Like, they're like going after like Roca's inability to grow a beard and like calling him not a real man and shit like that. I'm like, dude, calm down.
That is amateur hour.
But like everyone's laughing and booing and cheering. It was hilarious. And then they did a speed round. And I'm sitting there, my arms crossed, my hand on my face. And every question they asked, I do this. Like, I know this. I know this one. I know this one.
Right.
And so Makuga's sitting like 6 feet in front of me. And as soon as they asked this one question that nobody answered, I'm sitting there like, I know this. And they're like, no one knows this. And Makuga's like, she knows this. I'm like, yeah. And the question was, in Mary Poppins,
I
when
knew it
does
was going to
Mary,
be a Disney question.
when does, well, I mean, I knew all of them too, but like nobody knew this one. And it said, when does Mary Poppins say that she will leave the Banks children? And I'm like,
Oh, I know that.
I know this. So I'm like trying not to like scream out the answer and call them idiots. So Makuga,
Are these
I mean,
competitors that were doing the speed round or like fans?
no, this was the competitors with like the buzzer.
Wow.
Yeah.
They didn't know when the wind changes? They didn't know
And
that one?
yeah, so like I'm sitting there like outside my mind, and I was like, yeah, I know this one. They're like, okay, well, what is it? I was like, when the wind changes, it comes from the west. I'm like, and how dare you not know that we are spitting distance from Disneyland? We're in like the Anaheim Convention Center. Like, what's wrong with you guys? So then Makuga's just like, you've known all of these answers. I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're gonna talk later. So at the Marriott just down the way, they had like they were like, we're gonna be at the bar at 3. Come by and say hi. So I walked over and I had my phone in one hand and my Jameson in the other. And all of a sudden, Makuga, in his bright magenta suit that made me fall like half in love with him just for wearing that suit. And then the other half was just because he's Makuga. Walks up to me and he goes, hey, you're the girl in the front row. I was like, yeah. He goes, follow me. And I'm like, I'm going to get killed. Awesome. So he starts leading me through the crowd. And he takes me up to Christian and he's like, hey, this is the girl I was telling you about. And I'm like, what is going on? Completely not even like, I'm like, I don't understand this. And he's like, oh, so you did pretty well. And I'm like, yeah, they weren't that hard.
You weren't that hard.
Oh, the hubris of youth. And so he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. And so we started talking and he, you know, had a desperate need for females to compete at that time. And I ended up staying in contact with him because I still had like another year and like another like 16 months of tour left. And I was like, yeah, I'm moving back to LA when I'm done with tour so I can compete then. So I stayed in contact and I had breaks and I'd come back to LA and visit friends. And then I'd come see tapings and really got into it. Like I literally went home that night from WonderCon and like binged like 8 hours of Schmoedown. Like I was exhausted the next day, like Sunday at the convention because I had just like not slept and had just binged like the first like 2.5 seasons of Schmoedown, and I was like, this is everything I want in my life right now. And now it really is the only thing in my life right now, which is sad and amazing at the same time. So
No,
that is the story.
That is the story of most of our lives. The Schmoedown has definitely overtaken a lot of it.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure. You're a big wrestling fan also, right?
huge. Yeah, I grew up. My dad wanted boys, and he got 3 girls. So karma was like, fuck you. But he was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to teach him what wrestling is anyway. So we would like, I have like very vivid memories of being like 3 and 4 years old, like on Saturday afternoons with my dad in the living room watching wrestling on TV, my dad would be laying on the ground and I would literally jump off the arm of the couch and like drop an elbow onto him and like fake wrestle. And like I was a Hulkamaniac and I loved the Ultimate Warrior. And I'd run around the house talking like Randy Savage. My mom's like, what is wrong? Like, why is my daughter possessed? I'm like, oh yeah. She's like, what the hell? But yeah, I got to meet Owen Hart before he died. Yeah, I got to meet not Randy Savage. I got to meet Rowdy Piper. On Alcatraz, like we were leaving Alcatraz, and these guys with WCW Nitro jackets were like walking onto the dock, like onto the island, with like big like Pelican cases full of gear, and then we see my sister and I see Rowdy Piper, and we're like tiny. Like I think I'm maybe 8 or 9 years old. But I was real short and real skinny. And like Rowdy Piper is like a behemoth of a man in comparison. And so like, I remember that was when his son was really sick. He was like in the hospital and like, nobody knew what was going to happen. And so like, we stopped Rowdy and we're like, Mr. Piper, we hope your son's okay. And he like got down on one knee and like was talking to us. And I was like trying not to fangirl because even then I knew not to do that. But yes, Rowdy Piper's only here for two things: hugging me. Awesome. But we have this great picture. I wish I could find it, but I think my mom has it buried in a box. But it's like Rowdy and then like my sister and me, and we're like a third of his height. And he's like, he was the nicest man. He like talked to us about what we liked and what sports we played. And like, we told him to tell his son, we said good, we wish him well and stuff like that. It was really sweet.
It's funny you mentioned that, like Rowdy Piper being such a behemoth of a man. Cause like when you watch wrestling, comparatively to the real wrestlers, he was always one of the smaller guys, but it's true because when you see the really behemoth guys, then it's like for example, when I was young, my father actually promoted WWF events around like Albany once or twice, not like big, but Big John Studd swam in my pool.
Oh my God. How much flowed over the sides?
The whole fucking pool. And of course I was a Hulkamaniac. Like a
boulder and a puddle.
So I went like a boulder and a puddle. That's our new t-shirt, by the way. It's going to come out soon. We're going to get into that. But I was like, as a Hulkamaniac, so I attacked him by jumping on him, and he like just like with one finger, like just pushed me into the pool, like the other side of the pool.
I was actually doing, I worked for this catering company, and that had, they had coolers up in, like near Sacramento area, San Ramon area, in Northern California. And so one day I was dropping off some stuff into the freezer, and I got lost, like completely, there were like 6 different addresses listed on the building sides. I couldn't figure it out. I finally found a door that was open, and I walked in, and it was Ken Shamrock's training facility. And I was just like, you're Ken Shamrock. And he's like, can I help you? And I'm like, I'm really lost. And my like, it was before like smartphones. Like I had a shitty flip phone that had like no GPS. And like, for some reason it wasn't charging in the car. So my battery was dead. I was like, can I use your phone and like look up where I need to go? And I don't have any of the directions. And he's like, yeah, sure. So like I do that. And then we're just sitting there for a few minutes, and I'm just like, can I ask a favor? Because like nobody was in there. I think he was like just getting set up for like a training session or something. And he was like, what? And I was like, can I choke slam you? And he's like, I'm sorry, what? And I was like, look, my dad raised me on wrestling. I know exactly who you are. Like, you're a legend, like this is an honor to meet you. I'm like, can I choke slam you? And he's like, absolutely. So I got to choke slam Ken Shamrock.
Wow.
Which is like my big, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I got to put one over on Ken. It was really fun.
That's really cool. That's super cool.
I should have put him in an ankle lock. That would have been much better.
No, because something would have happened. Like his thigh would have twitched or something, and my leg would have shattered. Like I didn't want to put him in that situation. So, but he was very sweet about it. He was very kind and like let me choke slam him.
Speaking of wrestlers you've met, I noticed you recently met one that's pretty big wrestler in your life? I think Mick Foley. That was your first time meeting him, I'm assuming?
It really was. So the way that this came about is that, as you guys all know who Jen is, Jen Decker, Sturger.
We love her.
We love Jen. Jen, show some respect, Billy. Anyway, I love Jen. She is an amazing woman, and she does so much for everybody. And like, I just try and support her as much as possible. And so I guess Mick was going to be on Swings and Misses, which is her and her husband's podcast with Eddie Pence.
By the way, oh my gosh,
oh my god, you can't be doing anything while you're listening to it. Like you can't be cooking because you're just going to chop your finger off because you're laughing so hard. You can't be driving because you'll just like slam on the brakes or put yourself into wall. Like just don't do anything. Just listen and laugh. It is so great. But so one night I guess the next day Mick Foley was going to be on, and I was like, I don't fangirl about a lot of people, but Mick Foley has been a hero of mine since I was a child, and I'd probably, like, if I ever met him, I'd probably break down into happy tears. And he like instantly DM'd me because this was on Twitter, and I tagged him, and like, hold on, let me see if I can pull up the interaction because I like freaked the fuck out. I was like, this isn't real. Like, I know that there's a check mark there, but like, this can't be real. Like, Mick Foley's not messaging me, and so like, it's just.
I got into like I'm not as into wrestling as most people who watch the show know, as most people in the Schmoedown are, but I do remember little teeny tiny pockets of WCW and WWE and stuff like that. So it's always really interesting listening to other women talk about wrestling because at that time it wasn't marketed towards us. Like it wasn't anything that was like pushed towards us. There's such a strong female presence inside of the AEW and everything else that's going on right now, especially with the Royal Rumble having its own like separate section, which I thought was fucking amazing. Yeah,
good on them. And I mean, I really respect what AEW is doing, just because like, I mean, we can get onto that tangent in a second, but like, so Mick messaged me and he said, "Where do you live, Rachel? I would love to have you as my guest at one of the shows if you can make it to any." And I said, "I live in LA. Glendale." "I'm sorry, but is this seriously you?" And then he sends me this. I want to see if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
Barely. Yeah,
okay. So it's basically, he literally is sitting in a hotel room filming a video for me being like, "Hi, Rachel. Yes, it's me." And I like started crying, just like, oh my God. I literally responded back with, "Oh, holy shit."
Oh, holy shit.
But yeah, so he was amazing. I actually took Adam Witt with me.
Right.
And the two of us had so much fun. I mean, Adam's just like one of my favorite human beings that was ever created. He's just like the nicest, funniest dude ever. And so Adam went with me out to the middle of nowhere in Ontario, and we went and saw the show. And then like he asked us to like, he's like, "Yeah, after the show, just come back. Like, I'll have you escorted back, and like, you know, we can see each other and like hang out for a few minutes before I have to go do my VIP meet and greet." And I was like, okay. So it was very emotional. And then like he called me out, and so one of the like he likes to start off his shows with like a little bit of like with like 3 questions from like the crowd, and then he starts telling stories, and then at the end people will ask questions and he'll go off on tangents. It's very Kevin Smith-esque.
I would say,
yeah. Another one of my favorites.
We'll get there.
But so he literally like the first question, he's like, "Whoa, wait, where's Rachel?" And I'm like, "No, that's my name." I like literally almost started crying. He's like, "What's your question?" And my question was, so I don't know if you guys know this about Mick Foley, but he is a huge Christmas fan. Like he loves Christmas. He has a room in his house dedicated just to Christmas. Like there's constantly a Christmas tree up. Yeah, he loves it. He loves Santa. He loves everything Christmas.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah. So my question was, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Because obviously it has to be movie related because I'm me.
Die Hard.
On brand.
he said Elf. And I love him for that because he seems like such like this really tough guy because I mean he is king of hardcore. Like he created the whole hardcore genre and like perfected it and with Mankind and like oh god, he's
Cactus Jack.
Cactus Jack. I think it was like, why am I stumbling on this name? Like my brain is just so full of love with him. And he like created all of this and like he was the reason that basically that they couldn't show blood on screen anymore because there all of his matches there was so much blood that they were just like nope, no more. So he was, and then we got to meet him afterwards and he was very, very sweet and we got to talk for a little bit and I like almost cried when he hugged me and then I'm like, okay, we have to leave now. So it was very wonderful and he is like the nicest and he like still like will check in with each other every now and then. Like it was like almost a month ago and I'm still like, hey, how's the road?
That's awesome.
Like,
I will say, if you ever want to read a good wrestling biography, his biographies are the best.
Which one? Because
the
things that he's done should have rendered him like completely brain dead. Like the fact that he can still like not just stand up straight, but can form full sentences, like understands what's going on around him, like isn't missing more of himself than just his ear. Like the man should be a vegetable, and he is a Times best-selling author.
Right.
Like multiple times over. Like he hand wrote his first autobiography.
That's
yeah.
Foley is
George Lucas style, like with the yellow pad paper.
Yeah. He's amazing and just he's so smart about everything he does. It's phenomenal.
He's so dedicated to his. Like, I remember watching that Hell in a Cell live during the watching that live, and I like still was like, "What are you doing?"
I remember I called my dad during that and was literally like, "Daddy, is he okay?" Like,
well, Jim, I remember the Undertaker said that Undertaker looks at him like, I think he's dead. I think he died.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's literally what the Undertaker said to Terry Funk when he came in. He leaned over and he goes, "Is he breathing?"
Yeah.
Like
Terry Funk tried to throw a few punches, like, I gotta stall, I gotta do something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, because he was just starting to regain consciousness. It was nuts.
And people forget that, like, not only did they have that match and then goes through all this and the match ends, he had to come out later on that night. He interfered in the main event that night. He's the main event, like limping down. I'm like, oh my God, go home, Nick.
Yeah.
Go home.
Just go lay down on the stretcher. You'll be fine.
For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, it's a match at the first ever. It wasn't a Hell. It was like a house show.
No, it was
no
SummerSlam.
Not King.
It wasn't a Royal Rumble. I'm pretty sure it was Hell in the Cell. Guys, if anybody remembers or wants to look that up,
that was the match.
It's before there was a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, because that's the first ever. That's the second Hell in a Cell match.
I know it happened in '98 because I was 14.
He gets thrown off the top of a 25-foot high steel cage.
Not off of, through.
King of the Ring.
He got choke slammed through.
First he gets thrown off of it.
Oh yeah, and then he has to climb back up.
Climbs back up on top of it and then gets choke slammed into the ring through the top of the cage, which wasn't supposed to break.
Oh,
allegedly.
It was King of the Ring. Yeah, it was apparently held together. The top of the cage was apparently held together by zip ties.
Yeah.
And as they were stepping onto it, he said that he remembered the sound of the zip ties snapping.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, that's not good.
You think?
Like, as he's telling me this story, like, the match started replaying in my mind, and I was getting anxious all over again. I'm like, okay, we need to stop this story.
I got goosebumps.
I seriously, like, watching your tweets and watching Jen Sturger's stuff and all of that stuff, like, genuinely makes me want to get back into wrestling and all of that stuff, because I do love the stories, like the stories that are a part of it and getting into it. That's really neat. And I love that the Schmoedown has that little tie-in with it, because it allows it, like, the whole heel and face sort of thing behind it just makes me really genuinely have this appreciation for showmanship when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
And wrestling, for as much as I can remember, and for the tiny bit that I did watch, like that's some hardcore showmanship right there.
Yeah, and actually, if you want to get back into it, it's super easy. Like I got back into AEW. I got back into wrestling through AEW. I was staying with PJ in Arizona for a week when I had a week off with John Leguizamo, and it was right before Full Gear, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm getting Full Gear, so I'm just going to catch up on some of the episodes beforehand." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds awesome." And then he starts watching one of them, and there's this scene where Cody Rhodes, who created AEW, like he's like he's the son of legendary wrestler Dusty Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes was chasing the Inner Circle, which has Chris Jericho and like a whole bunch of other wrestlers, like up into this like VIP skybox, and just punches through the glass of the door. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm back in. Tell me everything. What's going on?" And like ever since, I just got sucked in, and I just went to Cleveland last week to go see the taping, which was amazing. At one point, John Moxley comes running through the crowd, like back up, and like literally stops like right next to me, and I'm like, "You're John Moxley."
Hi.
And he's like a badass. He's like a Cactus Jack with lethal intent.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry if anyone else has wrestling questions, please ask them. But me personally, I have to ask you about my sweetheart, one of the my favorite performers that I've ever seen in my entire life, Mr. John Leguizamo, Johnny Legs. Like, you tour with him, you do all of that stuff with it. Like, please tell me as much about John Leguizamo as you possibly can.
So
and your time touring with him and doing all of that stuff, because it's a big job that you've done for a while.
Yeah. Okay. So for anybody who doesn't know, I used to tour with punk and metal bands, doing merchandise and massage therapy and production promotions, yada, 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 for about 9 years. And then I got a real job and toured with Disney Theatrical Group with Beauty and the Beast for 5 years. And through that, I worked pretty much every Disney Broadway performance.
Nice.
That was on Broadway and on tour. So I did get to work with the original Newsies. I actually yelled at Jeremy one night because he didn't acknowledge me when I said that he did a great job. That was actually my first night there. It was really funny. So now every time I see him, I'm like, "Hey!" And he's like, "Oh, I remember you." Because people remember when I yell at them, apparently. And then when Beauty closed in July of 2016, I got a job touring with An American in Paris. Now, the company that did An American in Paris tour, it was absolutely beautiful. I wish that more people had seen it. Yeah. It's like they took the movie from 1942 with Gene Kelly and Leslie Caron, and made it into a ballet musical. Like it's very heavily most of the dance is very heavily like point shoes ballet. Done with like a modern jazz twist. It was absolutely stunning, and they sang and danced, and it was amazing. And then through that company, I also got to work for John Leguizamo on Broadway during a Thanksgiving break. So John does these one-man shows.
They're so good.
They're not stand-ups. He does do stand-up, but his one-man shows are very much a one-man show. It's got a message. It's telling a story. It's very complete. It's not there just to make you laugh, but he also has this amazing ability to teach you things. And so for this one, it was Latin History for Morons. And it basically is the best Latin History 101 class you could ever take. It's like 85% absolute fact and like 15% hyperbole and like funny things. But so I worked it for a week, and I actually got a book signed for John Roca, which is really funny because we had this whole like who's on first situation. It was my last night there, and John would come from his meet and greet and have to come back through the merchandise area to get back into the house to get to his dressing room to collect his things and leave. So we walked back. I was like, "Hey, I'm leaving. I wanted to say thank you so much for like the 4 shows I got to work." And he's like, "Wait, what do you mean leaving? Like, you're here." And I'm like, "No, I have to go back on my tour." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "I just need you to sign this book." He's like, great, who is it to? I'm like, John. He's like, yeah. What?
No, John.
Wait, who's
John.
who's it to? John. Yeah. What? What? Like literally it went for like a good minute, solid minute. And I was just like, oh my God, his name is John Roca. Your name is John Leguizamo. I need you, John, to write to John.
Dear John.
Dear John.
Yeah, dear John. So we had a good laugh over that. And then when he was going back out on tour, I knew that he was going to be in LA for like an 8-week sit down. And so I called my old boss and I was like, hey, if you're still doing the merchandise and you need somebody to run his show here in LA, like let me know. And through a series of unfortunate events for somebody else, I ended up getting hired like 2 days, like 3 days after the tour started, or after the shows in LA started. And I was walking backstage before a show, and I guess he was still doing sound check, and I was walking on stage to go to the front of house. And he was back there, and I was like, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Rachel. I'm going to be running your merchandise. So if you have any questions or need anything, like, let me know. And he goes, wait a minute. You've worked for me before. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, Sexaholics? I was like, what did you just call me? He got a very horror-stricken look on his face. And I was like, no, I know it's a show. Like, no, I did this show. I worked your show over Thanksgiving a few years ago when it was on Broadway. And he goes, oh, that's right. And then he left for tour again. Like, how was the rest of your tour? Like, how long were you out there for? And like started asking me all these questions. And I'm like, wow, you really do remember me. And he's like the nicest man ever. And just like every night would stop by after his signings and just like ask how shows were, like how the sales were. And like so many celebrities were coming up to the show, and it was amazing. Leo came to a show one night, and I was losing my ever-loving mind because my little 16-year-old heart was pounding because Romeo and Tybalt were in the same building as I was, and I was like, I have to get a picture, but I have to work after the show, and like
I bite my thumb at you, sir.
I do bite my thumb. I do not bite my thumb at you, sir. Yeah. So he gave me shit for that. He was like, you a big Leo fan? I'm like, first of all, everyone is a big Leo fan.
Everyone around your age is a big Leo fan.
I'm like, everybody loves something that Leo has done. He is amazing. And I'm like, and second, I didn't want a picture with Leo. I wanted a picture with Romeo and Tybalt. And he was like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, John. I am a 35-year-old woman. I was going through a very important time in my sexual awakening when that movie came out. Of course, I want a picture. And like,
hell yes.
Like I told John numerous times. I was like, yeah, no, I had a massive crush on you as Tybalt. Like, it's real hard to see you right now. Still, like, you're still sexy. And he just would blush. I'm like,
good-looking
stop it. He is a good-looking man.
Yes, John Leguizamo is a very important person in my life, especially being a Latin person. That was a lot of the only representation that I had seen for a long time. So his one-man acts, especially being someone who comes from theater, was really important for me to see. So, man, it's just so good to hear that he was a nice guy.
Oh, yeah. No,
I love him so much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Tim, I talked to him about everything.
The best is so good.
I was start singing that song. I don't remember the song. I'm sorry.
I was wearing actually wearing the top 10 live shirt one night after a show, and like we happened to be in the same like we happened to like meet up at the hotel bar after the show, and he's like, I really like that design. I'm like, well, funny story. It's my friend's podcast, and I described it for him, and he was really interested. So I was like, yeah, if you ever want to be on there and talk like top 10 Latin movies, like Rocco would love to do that with you. And he's like, yeah, I'll think about it. Like, I'll let you know. And I described what the Schmoedown was, and he was super excited, and which was another reason I was super bummed to miss New York, because I was going to go hang out with John because we went out to lunch together in DC so that I could get to know. He has this project coming out. It's this new Latinx comic book that sounds fucking phenomenal. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but just Google John Leguizamo Latin comic book, and it'll pop up. I think it's still doing some crowdfunding. but it was like I had to know about the project in order to tell people about it to like help fund it. And so we went out to lunch and had like a 2-hour lunch of us just like sitting back and like chilling. And he like asked me so much about my life, and we just got to become friends. And then we're like texting during the rest of the tour, and I would just like randomly sit on my bed and just be like, I'm friends with John Leguizamo.
Girl.
Which is the like I've had some really crazy out there things happen in my life, but like that for some reason was like the thing that made my brain like stop working. Like I text him when I found out he got nominated for an Emmy. We like ended up texting for like 10 minutes, and like Christmas and New Year's came around, and I was like, you know, Merry Christmas to you and yours. And like I got to meet his daughter in Chicago, and she is the cutest little thing. She's smaller than you, Danie. It is adorable.
That's small.
She's small. She's SML. But it was amazing. Yeah, Davlin says his first HBO one-man show, that would be Freak.
Yep.
I watched that so many times when I was far too young. But yeah, that's going on like that's coming close to like 20, 25 years.
No, seriously, yeah.
That's how long he's been doing these one-man shows, and
they're so good. They're so they're done so well. It was a big inspiration for me, like growing up.
Frank, don't encourage it. Stop it. He's not here for me to deflate his ego, okay? He's not home yet.
I legitimately cannot remember the first thing that I saw John Leguizamo in. Like I can't remember. I'm more than sure that it was The Pest, but I like just Tu Wong Fu was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Legitimately, it really was. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was little, I was terrified of him in Spawn.
Oh,
but
100%.
I still loved him, so I needed to watch Spawn because he was in Spawn.
This man played the Violator, Chichi Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Like, what were like Tybalt? Like, the man can go from comic book to drag to Shakespeare. Not even a fucking thought. Like I know that there's like so much work that he puts into it, but it looks so effortless, and that just is a huge testament. Like I could go on for hours about how much I adore John Leguizamo, and he's like,
I will let you.
Legit, I feel he's one of those people that has come into my life that I'm like incredibly like humbled and grateful for getting a chance to like be a part of his life. Like just I am a blip in his life, and I'm like, that is amazing.
He legit is one of those actors that always appears in projects, and you're kind of like, no matter what the project is, its value just went up.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just little like supporting characters of John Wick, for example, when he was on Bloodline, the Netflix show with Ben Mendelsohn, like season 3, I think it was. Stint on ER, you just knew this is all of a sudden a better show now.
Yeah, one of the things I actually regret, I completely forgot to ask him, was if he ever got to drive the car in John Wick.
Yeah.
Like before it died.
Yeah.
That would be something I would put into my fucking rider. Like that's in my contract. Like I just need to take it for a spin. Like teach me how to do a donut hole, teach me how to burn out, and let me take it literally to McDonald's and pick up fries or something. Like that's all I want.
Cam Shaft in the chat had mentioned him being in Super Mario Brothers, and that might legitimately be where it was.
That was the one movie he couldn't save. That was it.
Yes, and Toulouse and Moulin Rouge, like this. He has worked on his knees, and I don't mean that in a derogatory form. He has he has had such amazing roles, like where he has had to physically put himself into like not danger, but just like in peril. Like both the Violator and Toulouse, he was constantly on his knees. Like that, I'm sorry, but that is painful.
Give this man an award already. Jesus.
I will give him all of the awards.
Gosh.
So much.
You're turning this into the John Leguizamo who
that's exactly what
He can legitimately win in what is it, an EGOT? That's what it is.
Yeah.
The
Emmy, Grammy,
Oscar,
Tony.
Tony.
He's definitely, I'm pretty sure he's won a few Tonys for his shows. I I think he's won an Emmy at least.
I thought it was one for he won it for ER, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. So he just honestly, he needs to win an Oscar like so badly.
An Oscar.
He absolutely deserves it. He is so phenomenal in everything
Just
he
needs
does.
the right role because he could win in a heartbeat.
I mean, to be fair, he had it. It was Chi-Chi.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
He's. I was walking away from him one day, and he spoke as Chi-Chi, and I turned around and I was like, "I'm just warning you, don't do that again." Like I will kidnap you, and we will go, and I will like make you run lines with me. Like that is just how this is gonna go.
I'm just gonna cry just being that like third degree away from that. So.
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
All right, so we do have to talk a little bit about the Schmoedown.
Oh, that old thing.
We got other stuff to talk about too. Bet the Schmoedown too does. So go ahead.
We're super excited for you and your faction. This whole draft thing was such a great turn inside of the Schmoedown. We just took a hard left. It's totally fine. So you've been a part of the Schmoedown for a long enough time to see a lot of the changes that have happened within it. You're part of the whole anarchy thing. That was how we were introduced to you and Devon as a team. All right.
To be fair, we were talking about movies previously, and I just want to let LA know, yes, he can sing. John Leguizamo can sing. I know it's not fair, but yes, I'm part of the den, and it's wonderful, and it's all the changes. Sorry, just want to get.
Yeah. So going from the anarchy thing where you were teammates with Devon Stewart, you are now teammates and revealed that you're teammates with one of our favorite people on this show, Mr. Ben Goddard.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Ben has a great wealth of knowledge, and he's just super quippy, which I absolutely love. Like he's like Devin, but like cranked down a little bit in intensity, and like cranked up a little bit in his knowledge. So it's gonna be really, really fun to see. I think we're gonna meet up this week to kind of go over. Like we've already been texting and like exchanging like, okay, so strengths, like what are we looking for the wheel? Because our first match films on the 15th.
Nice.
So we'll see what happens. But I'm
not giving anything away. Do you feel like your strengths match up pretty well? I mean,
yeah, but like, I mean, for like the brief amount that we've talked about it, you don't necessarily want your strengths to overlap completely.
Right.
You want them to have a nice common ground of that middle Venn diagram area. But I think that we both have a really good like base knowledge that we can pull from, and that I think that some of our strengths might be a little unexpected.
Nice.
For some of the other teams. I mean, everybody knows my strengths. Like they're very blatant and known. So if those teams that are going to play us that haven't played before, like want to go back and research, like that's all good. That'll be fun for them.
I do feel like that's an interesting aspect to this whole season, because there are a bunch of rookies coming into this year, and you can go back there's plenty of reel for us to know what your specific strengths are, but not a lot of us know what any of these new rookies' strengths are. So that's going to be a really interesting team dynamic, and I think that that's going to be a lot of fun to run with for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it actually puts the rookies at in an interesting advantage in that aspect, because there are some rookies that have come to us from the fan leagues that we can obviously go back and research their past matches. But there's a lot of rookies that have never played in the Schmoedown or in the fan leagues that there's nothing to research.
Right.
Like you just literally have to try and stalk them as much as humanly possible and see what you can discover and see if you can just kind of go off on that. I love how everybody's saying Beauty and the Bandit and Beauty and the Bagel. Guys, Ben is so much prettier than me, so this is all just describing him. So,
Ruby's Bagels.
Ben is so pretty. I adore him. He is such a good-looking boy, but like he is way prettier than I am. He's very tall.
Wow.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm not going to be like this mountain of a female standing next to a shrimp of no, not that I don't love Devin. I love you too, but
I love
that's half my size.
It is what it is.
It is.
You seem
But,
short to me. You seem pretty short to me.
You're tall also, Billy. Calm
You're
down.
a bit of a pocket person, so.
But to be fair, anyone who is taller than 5'5" is tall to me. So
Normal size.
Normal size is tall for Danny,
Average, not
but it's true.
normal.
Average. Okay.
Oh, average.
Explain.
Sure. Median height.
Median height.
You should be Boobies Bagels. There you go. It combines Kevin Smith and bagels.
I kind of like that.
I actually kind of like that too. I mean, we're still playing around with a whole bunch of themes, and like apparently we're a little heelish.
ooh.
So
Really?
kind of looking to change. Sorry, I just looked down and Chris Adams. Rachel is one of the few people who probably could call Ben boy. Yeah. I mean, I'll do that to any man if I'm angry at him, so it's fine.
So Bagel Bites? That's what we're talking about?
Bagel bites, yeah.
I was joking that we should bring them to the match and just throw them out into the crowd. He's like, please don't. But no, he's the Bandit now, and it's really good. He did have a match against Bonnie that taped this last Saturday, which is a fantastic match.
Wait, he played Bonnie? I thought.
Oh no, not Bonnie. No, Bonnie played
RB3.
Yeah, he played RB3.
And then Bonnie.
All of the matches this weekend were whoa. Like
I assume they taped like 9 Bonnie matches this weekend because they got her in studio. You might never know when you're gonna get her again.
Did you see that tweet that Bonnie Somerville did with Ben Goddard, where she did that little thing where she zoomed in on Ben Goddard? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, with the hearts, it was so cute.
That is my favorite Schmoedown couple, and I hope that bit runs for a long time.
Oh, I will actually be shocked if they end up ever going out on a date. Like honestly, it just seems so it just seems not unlikely in a bad way, but just like she's so busy and he has such an insane schedule. Like he hustles like nobody's business. So for them to meet up, I think it would just be unlikely, but very good if it happens.
I feel like she would destroy him. Let me just put that out there.
Oh, of course she would.
I mean, she would like they're like Black Widow style to be all over for him. You would no longer have a partner.
Just be laying on the ground with one arm twitching. I mean, as long as we don't have a match for like a month, like that's fine. We'll heal him. We'll get him back into fighting shape. It'll be fine.
There you go. Well, you're in the den.
I am.
So tell us about the den. Actually, my question before I get into the den is, if you had to be picked by somebody else, let's say you can't have been picked by the den, who would have been the other person you would have been picked by? Who would have liked to have worked with?
I mean, I think that Roxy is an amazing manager. She really gets behind her players. She really gets to know them and their strengths. Like the things that she did with the Odd Couple and how she turned them around and like really got them working together was phenomenal. Working with Sam and by I can't think of the word right now.
Proxy.
Yeah, thank you. By proxy, Rachel would have been amazing. Rachel's still a good friend of mine, so like if I have questions, like she, will answer them for me, and so that's not an issue. I would have loved going into the dungeon just because like who wouldn't want Kaiser see, I become friends with people far too fast, and like we just get into this deep level of friendship. So it's really hard for me to know where to draw that line of like things to say and not to say during promos. So I actually really like the fact that like, Kaiser would have been talking a lot for the promos. And he is also just an amazing manager. Like he really does put a lot of work into his players. I'm missing somebody and I know I'm going to yell. I mean, Shannon.
Yeah, there's Billy.
She's crazy amazing.
Do what? You want to be in the Stock Exchange with Gucci?
Oh, I would have loved to have been in the Finstock Exchange. Like, honestly, I've been talking to Roka because I was like, look, Roka, like before our match, I was like, because Roka and I are friends. Like we'll contact each other and talk and stuff.
Tim.
Anyway,
you don't see Rachel speeches about things too much, but
Roka and I will talk. We were talking about things about like how about just how my matches prior to him have gone, and like who I've been paired up with, and like things that I could have done to like prepare better for them. And it was just really nice getting that kind of like insider, almost like training with Roka. And I think that had I had Roka as a faction mate, along with Ben Bateman, who is like the king of effing studying, like he has study tactics for study tactics. Like
the man who used to make fun of people for studying, now being known for the study king, just like it's hilarious to me. Oh my gosh.
It's nuts, but like being on that team would have just been amazing.
Yeah.
You could replace BC Badass as security guard.
Yeah, that's true.
His name is
very, very
Jackass BC, not JC Badass.
I'll let it slide. But yeah, it was.
What you're talking about, Jeremy?
I mean, I'm really excited this year to actually have and getting to see Grace and Kate in action as a manager this last weekend was so refreshing and just so encouraging, because like I know that that's what's going to be by my side for all of my matches, whether it's singles or teams.
Yeah.
And they are so passionate. They would like take every player and be like, have you looked at the wheel yet? Do we need to go talk to them? Let's go review the wheel, like, and all this stuff. So it was really, really good to see that and know that I actually have someone in my corner this season.
That's amazing.
That's a scuttlebutt I've heard from like the tapings, is that it was amazing how much all the managers were like super involved, and like how it's just a big evolution of everything.
Well, I mean, the managers prior to this had always been involved, but to see it for every match was so wonderful, because like there were a lot of players last season who did not have managers. Like it was more realistic to see somebody not being represented and walked out than it was to seeing having somebody in their corner, whether it was like a teammate or a manager. Like that, it just didn't happen. So like now it's getting serious and it's getting crowded in that studio because now like faction members are showing up for faction matches that aren't theirs, and they're there to support, and it's getting big. So
I think the managers having such a big spot for this season will definitely change the game so much for the better, and especially when it comes to terms of gameplay. Like even with the live event that just happened, it shows that Bobby Gucci wasn't able to be there for Dan Murrell, but Ben Bateman was. But Ben still played a prevalent role inside of that match as a manager for it and doing what they did. So I'm super pumped for this. I'm super pumped for you to have, Kate Mulligan and Grace being your manager, because I was very worried about Grace. I thought she was going to maybe take more of a step back. So hearing you say that makes me feel so much.
No.
I love
this. I mean, when you think about it, Grace has been involved for like 4 seasons. Like she knows the game. So like having her and Kate paired up together, like, is just a golden match. And so they were there for all of the matches, for all the Den matches. Both of them were sitting off to the side, like talking and like strategizing with the competitors, and it was really, really good to see.
I'm super pumped.
Yeah. So now I got like 11 days to study. So
that's right. So how are the rookies that you've seen so far? Are some of the rookies living up to the hype? Are they or not? Some of them don't have any hype?
There are some that just like a lot of people don't really know about. Mm-hmm. That like there are some rookies that like I know on a personal level, but I don't know like on a competitive level. I don't know what I can say without giving away some of these matches, though.
We do have one of your den mates, Mr. Sean Sullivan, inside of the chat right now.
Hey, Shawnee.
That's true.
That being said, he does. Yes.
Jillian's been trying to whip him off a little bit, trying to get him back studying.
Get back to
studying. And I agree.
Sean needs to take a little bit of a break. Let him sit and enjoy the friend time. And I mean, it'll be fine.
I have my fantasy team. We don't allow breaks on my fantasy team. Yep. You work your ass off.
He'll still kick some ass.
So, Rachel, really quickly, in our last Chill to Action, we had Andrew DiMolante on, and Andrew DiMolante works with his wife studying and stuff like that. Sean also worked with his wonderful girlfriend inside of the Schmoedown and stuff like that. Mike Kalinowski and Shannon have worked together, and there was that little bit that we should have a little Wives of the Schmoedown section.
I want that so bad. I really want to pitch that to Christian, just to have because so Molly is in a class of her own because Molly helps with Alex. Yeah. So we were thinking of having Molly announce a significant others wives match between Jill and, oh my God, what is her name? You just said it. Oh, Nikki? Why am I blanking? Yeah, sorry. I've been studying far too much that I'm forgetting real people in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm
understand.
No. I'm no, it's not Nicole Kidman. Yeah, Nikki. I want to see a rose match between Jill and Nikki with Molly at the table. I think it would be hilarious. If we were still doing for the exhibition matches, if we weren't doing the what if ones, I think that it would be really funny to have a wives match. I think it'd be great.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
I think they can come on to Chill, and Kim can come interview them and stuff.
Oh my God!
Call off. We're gonna bring.
This is a dream come true. It would be so funny.
I would love that. I'm sorry. Sorry, Paul. I love you.
Okay, that's all right. I get it. Kim's my better half. I know. It's
Kim
time.
Is my Schmoedown mom.
I do love your wife. I do.
Everybody seems to.
I mean, she's kind of awesome. She's pretty damn amazing. You're kind of a lucky man.
I did marry up as Josh McCougar told me, straight blank to my face. Yeah. How did you marry her?
Schmoedown mom's in the chat talking about Rachel's mom's brownies.
Yeah.
Sorry, I froze there. What did I miss? All I heard was brownies.
Has the den gotten the brownies?
Not yet. No, Mom hasn't come down yet. I think she's gonna try. I was gonna try and get her down for my match, but it's not looking like she can get away from work. But I will be doing, if I have the time the night before my match, I will be making brownies.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what time it is? It's going to be time for our favorite section on this show, a little thing called This or That. A little bit later than we usually go because we just love talking to you so much. But if you haven't seen our show, and this is your first time viewing, I'll be giving Rachel two choices. Multiple questions, two choices. She gets to choose between them. She can expand on them if she wants. There may be context, there may not be. Some written for her, some are just our normal questions that we ask everybody, just to kind of get a baseline. So let's just start with the first one. We always ask this question.
There's only one right answer.
There's only one right answer. Are you Team Ghai or Team Trader?
I am Team Snickers.
Wow. You know what? I gotta say, no one answered that. That might be the best answer we've heard yet.
That's the correct answer.
I can't pick anybody over my Neff pup. I just can't.
I did say that. There's one correct answer, but there's more than one correct answer.
I can't pick somebody. I can't pick a human being over one of my Neff puppies.
The Neff,
or one of my Neff or niece puppies.
I love Andrew's Instagram stories where he's just showing Snickers at the dog park.
Oh, I know.
It's the best.
Every time I see those, I instantly text him. I'm like, so when do I get to steal my dog back?
Fair point. I will say that
he and Leia are my dogs.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Fair point that when we had Andrew on Chill, I told him that Snickers had to make an appearance. It was like a contractual obligation with him.
Because who wants just Ghai?
Seriously.
Who wants to see that beautiful face of his? Oh, give me puppy drool.
Every time.
So yeah, Team Snickers.
Oh, and Tim, I guess you also love Tim Franco's dog, supposedly.
I do. Oh my God, they're so big and fluffy and little and fluffy. Oh, you walk out of there looking like you have a fur suit on. No.
I'm gonna ask it, Snickers or Leia? Snickers or Leia?
First of all, they're such good friends that they would never compete against each other. They would just ignore the F out of everyone and just like snuggle and play. Like that's all they would do. They're like, whatever, we're gonna hang.
I love them.
Fair enough. Okay, we got our next one. Spectacular or free for all?
Ooh, well, my chances are much higher of me getting to compete in the free for all. So I'm gonna go free for all. I also think it's so the spectacular is it is spectacular. It is crazy how important those matches are. Like they're always belt holding matches or number one matches, like they're a big deal. But when you get to go to the free-for-all, I don't think you understand that we all just get drunk and wander around. And by all of us, I mean specifically me and Robert Meyer Burnett. Like last year,
that drunk and wander around sort of club.
Oh, Jill, we were all drunk at Spectacular. Like last year for Spectacular,
fair.
I brought a handle of Jameson, hung out on these emergency stairs in the back stage area, mainly because they had us get there like an hour and a half before the show even started. And then they started and it was like a 10-minute preview and like I was on first. So like I literally had to, I hid my jug. I hid my handle backstage, like underneath like people's personal bags in a dressing room.
Underneath you, underneath my snuggle spot.
I mean, I might walk out with the entire bottle this year just to make sure it stays safe.
There, I would not blame you at all.
Which I thought was really funny that people like really liked that I came out just drinking for the free for all. They're like, yeah, Rachel's got a drink in her hand. I'm like, it's Saturday, of course I do.
It's also free for all. There's a long history of drinking in the free for all.
Oh my God! I mean, if you listen,
sharing Jameson.
If you listen closely towards the end when Janine is on stage, you can hear me drunkenly being like, "That's my girl!" Because Robert Meyer Burnett and Riley and his fiancée Julie and I were all like just off of stage left at that bar that was right there, just drinking. And like Robert Meyer Burnett and I were just like, I mean, he drinks like half my whiskey whenever I bring it to the studio. So we were just like, he was like buying me drinks because he'd already drunk like half my bottle backstage. And we were just still drunk Ken versus drunk McCougar. Yes, I'm all in, Jeremy. But it was just like Robert Meyer Burnett, like those last like 7 or 8 rounds, like you can hear us very clearly. Like just cheering and booing, and it was so much fun. But yeah, I think free for all over spectacular. I think it's a bigger bang for your buck, honestly, because everyone is there and everyone wanders and everyone hangs out, and it's so much fun. And there's like everybody's so chilled and relaxed out because it's like we're all there to have fun, and it doesn't start getting serious until like the last 4 rounds anyway. So
nice.
Yeah,
free for all this March 21st. March 21st in LA. Get your tickets; they're still available. Join the Patreon.
Plenty of tickets. It's at the Globe. It's a really beautiful venue. It's super fun. Come down.
Okay. I got some other ones now. How about this? Bill S. Preston Esquire or Ted Theodore Logan?
How dare you try and split up Wild Stallions? Wild Stallions run together.
I
but on that note, it has to be Keanu.
Keanu, okay.
Wait, in which movie though? That's the question.
It does not matter.
Johnny Utah.
It does not matter.
Because in the first one I take Bill S. Preston, but in the second one I take Theodore Logan.
Okay.
Interesting take there.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's. I mean, my heart resides very firmly with Keanu, no matter what.
Fair enough. Ben Affleck or Matt Damon?
Wow.
Matt
Matt Damon.
I'm gonna have to take. Oh, shit. I gotta take Ben.
Okay.
I gotta take the Affleck. Yeah. Maybe it's
He's
because
been in
he's
more Kevin
taller.
Smith movies.
Yeah.
That's
He's
true.
also had, yeah. I mean, have you seen Reboot?
No, that's our conversation we're going to get to.
Oh my god. Okay, we'll save it for then. But yeah, so Ben.
Okay.
Ben Affleck.
Speaking of that, does anybody hopefully ever can go watch the Wayback trailer that just came out? It dropped today. The second Wayback trailer for Ben Affleck, directed by Gavin O'Connor of Warrior Miracle. It's so.
Oh my god.
It looks amazing.
So good. So I can't wait for that.
I think it's going to be Ben's best role ever.
I think so
like
too.
Honestly, I think it's so personal to him, and I think it's a really beautifully. I don't know. It just I can smell Oscar on it. I hope he gets it. I really do.
I think it's definitely in that category at this point.
Is it a book?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think it's based on a true story, but I don't know if there's a book.
Okay.
That could be right.
Yeah.
That could be true. I'll look into that. Okay. Here's one that's probably gonna maybe most. Oh, let's wait first. Yes, Affleck was the Bob and Phantom Geo.
Yeah, it was. Fuck yeah.
Brody or Banky?
Fuck! Brody. Okay. I'm sorry.
All right. I know, but that's a tough one for me too. The good thing is I don't have to answer these, so I like this story out there. I don't have to answer them. Billy had a follow-up though.
How many men can you not? How many men can you say has been called callow and then gets back at their ex by having sex with them in an elevator the same day? Like, oh my god, he called him callow. I thought that was the only part of the letter that was complimentary. Oh my god, it means frightened and weak-willed. So, like, literally, I've remembered that word my entire life because of that movie. Thank you, Kevin Smith.
Nice.
That and Schooner.
Sure, I definitely order that. Billy, what was your follow-up to that one? Go ahead. You can get your follow-up.
Brody or Randall?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a tougher one.
Fuck you.
While you're thinking, I just want a quick sidebar and say that we got a good this or that question when the guest says "fuck you."
Yeah, this is like the third time.
You're making me my favorite Kevin Smith characters, and that's not okay.
I blame Paul.
I'm gonna go Randall.
Right?
Yes,
I agree. Actually,
my boy. I love Jason Lee, but Randall's my favorite Kevin Smith character of all time.
Because he's you.
Allegedly.
Just so you're a little bit bigger version of Randall. That's all.
I'm not joking.
Patterned my life after Randall.
I'm not joking. When I have the apartment to myself, I will literally walk from my room into the kitchen doing the Randall. And I'm waiting for one day for me to realize that I'm not alone because someone will start laughing. I'm just waiting for it to happen.
It still checks out. Yeah.
No, we're to make sure that you guys set up cameras in your apartments so you can just catch you.
This is not Big Brother.
Big Brother Schmoedown style.
You don't know Brandon Hanna.
Oh, there's a challenge drop there.
Wait, what was it?
This is Christian wants to challenge you to the Schmoebaits.
Wait, is that Christian?
Yeah.
Christian, I 100% accept.
Well, I got it there. We will talk to Alex. We will let you know that the challenge has been dropped. The challenge has been accepted right here on Chilled Action.
Done.
A future Schmoebaits episode will be Christian Harloff.
This is going to determine how many matches I have this season.
Yes.
And who I go up against. He's like, okay,
That's
you want to play singles? Merle.
Wow. All right. Well, that's definitely a unique
man.
Big Schmoebaits this Wednesday. It's Mike Kalinowski and one queen of the Schmoedown, Shannon.
That's true. Mike
I love that you're starting this civil war for them because that bodes very well for everybody who's facing them.
You need to learn.
Hey, I asked what they wanted to define snub as, and that was what they came back with. I was playing by the rules. You know, I love rules. You know, I love asking for them.
Oh, is that what Alex said?
It's Alex's fault. No, it's
I asked if they wanted who was snubbed, like who was left out of the nominations, or who was not, or who didn't win. And she came back with who didn't win.
Yeah.
And that was what I was told.
Well, Alex makes mistakes sometimes, I guess, that as well. Yes, that is true. They did lie to you.
No mistakes here.
Fair enough.
It happens.
Honestly, if like Christian knows this, but like I always have questions about everything. Like I'm always like, okay, so what exactly is a modern classic? Can you define that for me? And like I will ask all of these questions and just go on and on and on and just be like, because I like to find loopholes. I'm that asshole. So when somebody asks, like when there's like definitions of things like that, I'm always like, okay, but what defines it? Like what defines a new release? Like give me a time frame, because that's what I need to know. So now that we have managers to go through, I just feel super bad for Kate. I'm like, okay, so here are like my 200 questions. But yeah, no, it's I would love. This is gonna be interesting. It's modern and a classic.
Damn it!
That's the easiest definition I've ever heard.
There you go. From the horse's mouth. It's modern. It's a classic.
The definition is the title.
I personally consider Out Cold a classic, and nobody knows that movie. It will never be involved in any Schmoedown question. So, like, there's a difference.
What movie?
Out Cold. It's so good.
Oh, fantastic.
It is
I love that
movie. It is a loose remake of Casablanca.
I've read that. That theory. Yes.
Yeah, you need to go back and watch it because it is so interesting to go back and watch it with that mindset, and you're just like, wait, what?
Who are the Nazis in Out Cold? Well, no, I guess they are Nazis in Out Cold. The guys that come to buy the mountain. Yeah. They're like playing their old Nazis. Yeah. They even have like special outfits.
They're uniforms. They're actually called uniforms.
Are they?
Funny enough, he should have definitely played. He definitely could have played Stumpy. That would have been hilarious. Oh my god! I told you that they credit me for creating snowboarding. I don't want it. They just keep giving it to me. So good.
Modern classic.
Like literally every time it comes up online, like Ash Crossan and I are like constantly tweeting back and forth, like just literally like 20 minutes worth of the gifts back and forth. Just like we love this movie so much.
Oh, that's so good.
It has a man making love to a hot tub. That's how amazing it is, folks.
Go up in it. Love it.
Go up in it. Well, shall I continue or not? We're done tangent there.
Continue. Go.
I will continue. They will say when Billy brought up the idea of Mike versus Shannon, Tim Frank on the chat wanted to know if Mike was going to talk about how he's better than Tim at Bond. So I want to know what you think. Mike Kalinowski versus Tim Franco in a Bond exhibition match.
Oof.
Brad Gilbert. You can pick any of those.
I think that it will be the most well-dressed match we've ever had. Because I'm pretty
Tim
sure
Franco has a nice T-shirt. His T-shirt game is on point.
Who's Tim's?
Tim Franco.
No, I'm pretty sure Tim, you'd whip up a tux for this, right? Like you have to. Like I would even volunteer to like dress up in a gown and like pour martinis for people. That there. No, I think that I can't even touch that one. Like that is just. Fair story. But they keep Stumpy, so who am I to argue? No, I think that Tim and Tim versus Mike in a 007 match is almost akin to a Whitwer Alex Damon match for Star Wars. Like, honestly, or the swimsuit from Goldfinger. Please don't.
I don't know if anybody wants to see any of that.
Wear the tux. I love you, Tim, but
yeah. All right, fine. We'll move on then. Let's see. Classic here for our show: poutine or loaded fries.
It's easier for me to find vegan loaded fries.
Nice. Understandable.
But in Vancouver at Stormcrow, which honestly, for all of you nerds, I know everybody who is watching this is a nerd. If you ever find yourself in Toronto or Vancouver, seek out Stormcrow Tavern. It is the nerdiest place I have ever been. They have a shot menu that you pay $5 for. You roll a 20-sided die, and whatever it lands on, you get that shot for $5. It's so much fun.
Okay.
Like all of that. The entire menu is themed. Like my poutine is the Riverdale. They're the Riverdale poutine, and it's so much fun. It's just one of the best things. They've got like organs. Please don't die, really.
Come back.
Poutine can be vegan.
Can it be vegan?
I can find vegan cheese. There's vegan cheese. So I'm vegan
mushroom gravy. It's really delicious.
Yeah.
This is very true, by the way. Chris says Rachel knows every spot in like every city in the US, like where to go pretty much.
Honestly, give me a major city and even some like minor ones, and I will tell you where to go. I traveled for 17 years. Like I literally can still when I was in Cleveland, I went to a bar that I hadn't been to in 5 years. It's called Becky's. It's like 3 blocks behind the Play Square theater. And you just walk in and they literally give you a platter that's about that big. Like no joke. Stacked high with tots. They double fry them without you having to ask. So they're super crispy and crunchy on the outside, delicious on the inside. It's amazing. But I walked in and someone was like, wait a minute. You used to come here. I'm like, oh my God. Yes, I did. Thank you for remembering me 4 years later.
Yeah. Where everybody knows your name. I no copyright strike.
Now, here's another one I was going to ask, but I don't know if I can ask this one now because of Christian's appearance in the chat. I was going to say pick a schmo, Christian or Mark. Can you answer that legally now with Christian in the chat, or do you want to defer?
Don't make me pick between my two dads. That's not okay. No, they're just so wonderful. Christian let me compete, and Mark, it basically is like almost dating my mom. It's hilarious. They're both just so supportive and so amazing, and just like they're there for everyone, and they just want to see everybody succeed, because when we succeed, they succeed. And it's just a really great environment they've created, and I honestly don't know what I would do without this family. So thanks.
Absolutely. And they're big supporters of us too, so we have to likewise send our appreciation to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of these days, Mark will let me steal Molly for an afternoon. That's all.
Oh, please.
I actually told him, I was like, so on the off chance that you can't watch Molly, if you don't call me first, we're not friends anymore.
Fair enough.
Just so we're clear.
Here's what I have to ask you. I have to ask you this now. This is the Action Army Generals had to talk about this recently in our chat. How do you say, I'm going to spell a word.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And I want to ask how you say this word. COUPON.
It depends on where I am in the world. I'm not even joking. Wherever I am in the US, like I will literally like just form my words to like when I hit Texas, and Chris can vouch for this. Chris and Robert can vouch for this. When I was in Texas with them hanging out in Austin, I y'alled hard.
Woo!
Like, y'all comes in heavy. So I was raised by a Midwestern mother, so I say coupon.
Woo!
Correct.
That is the correct answer.
That is the correct answer. You say coupon. It's not coupon.
It is in certain places.
No, it's not.
It's
in wrong places.
It is.
In wrong places, yes.
But I say coupon.
Good, fair enough.
You put pineapple on pizza.
I'm vegan, so yes. There's only so many toppings that are available to me at like regular like Domino's or Papa John's or whatever. I know we're not supposed to order from them, but they have that amazing like garlic sauce that I will actually drink.
Exactly.
I don't know what a coupon is.
What the fuck? Coupon.
But no, I do. But I don't ask other people to eat my pineapple. In fact, if they do, I stab them with a fork. I don't ask people to eat my pineapple the same way that people don't ask me to eat their pepperoni.
There you go.
We live in a symbiotic agreement.
Yep.
All right. Here's one from earlier in the night. I just threw this one together. Romeo or Tybalt?
Tybalt.
Okay,
Yeah, girl.
Answer is Mercutio. Disrespect Mercutio again. Answer is Mercutio. The star of that movie.
I mean, to be fair, I do love me a cross-dressing black man, like nobody's business.
Harold Perrineau did a great job in that movie. So,
but Tybalt in the opening scene at the shootout at the gas station,
Fair enough.
can't handle it. And like, while I love Leonardo DiCaprio, Romeo is a whiny 15-year-old douche.
Fair enough.
but I mean, I genuinely feel like that's Romeo's character.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's who Romeo is. I can't stand Romeo.
Yeah.
I was always like, let's go back and talk to the nurse. Like, she seems awesome. She's
Yes.
up with these kids.
Yes.
Tim Franklin is Paris all the way.
Let's go hang out. Let's go hang out with the priest who's whipping up these drugs to stop these kids' hearts. What he really believes in.
He's got the best shit. That's all I gotta tell you.
Yeah, he does. Get some of that nightshade. Mm-hmm.
Hey.
All right.
I have this
Singles?
or that for you, Rachel.
What?
I said I have this or that for you.
Okay.
Rancid or no effects?
Ooh.
No effects.
Okay.
I really like. I've toured with both of them, but Fat Mike is amazing, and I just absolutely love him.
Nice.
I love Me First the Gimme Gimmes. That's what I would take them over any of them.
Oh yeah, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes is super fun. I really do love them.
Okay. Schmoedown this or that. Singles or teams? Which do you like playing better?
Ooh. Well, I've had like 4 teams matches and 2 singles matches. I really like the win. Like even my loss to Roca, I think I felt better about than my 1 win in teams. I got probably singles. I mean, I really do love playing with teams because there is that like camaraderie and like you do get more round 2 questions, which is what I really love, depending on the category that gets asked. But I do love singles because it really is just like all about you and all about what you know. It's 6 in one, half a dozen in the other at this point. But Christian, I want a singles match. Please don't put me against Merle or Bateman or Roca again.
That's a good question. That's a good point.
He's gonna put you against Janine to spite you. Like
No, I don't know if I'll face another female this season because it's so spread out at this point that like putting 2 of the females that have been competing as long as we have together, I don't know if it makes sense or not. I mean, I would love to face Janine. It would be very interesting because a lot of our strengths are incredibly similar.
Right.
So we would literally have to get together and be like, okay, so what are you putting on the wheel, and what are you like? What am I putting on the wheel? Just so like we can have like 4 of both of our strengths on there, just to like really hammer it through. Because I think a good, yes, I understand that like the weakest link of your knowledge is what people test you on, but I think that it would be really interesting to have like a strengths match.
Yeah.
Like have 4 of my strongest wheel slices against 4 of her strongest wheel slices.
Yeah.
Opponents and spinners. I think that would be really, really fun. But yeah.
I actually think Rachel versus Janine sounds almost like a live event kind of match. Like you want to see the 2 women who've been there so long together, like fighting, both of them being like the women who are going to step up. They're both called like when they're going to step up the next round.
I think that if they really want to do like a female centric match, I think that it'd be really interesting to team up like Haley and Stacy versus me and Janine. I think that would be a really good match.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, Robert. Don't think I don't see you over there, Robert, with your Chris versus me for a Kevin Smith exhibition match. We've been talking about this for months.
I so want to see that too.
Me too. So bad.
Speaking of Kevin Smith, this is my final this or that question. We'll wrap this or that up with Kevin Smith or Disney.
What are we talking? Like I can't watch any of them ever again, or my
watch
favorite?
them any ever again? We'll say you can only watch Kevin Smith, or you can only watch Disney.
Death.
Yeah.
You still get Pixar if you pick Kevin Smith.
Rather just die. Nope, I'm not Rosemary babying this. This is not okay.
There is precedence. Like I have a letter of refusal before, so I think I could. It's like I feel the pain in your heart when I saw it.
I'm literally looking at my movie collection right now, being like, I could never get rid of you. I promise. Tonight forever.
All right. Well, that ends this or that. Do we want to start getting chat questions in now, Danny?
That's right, y'all. This or that is over. So that means that it is time for all of y'all in the chat to go ahead and put your questions in. Anything that you want Rachel to ask. If we missed your questions earlier in the chat, please make sure that you bring them back in here so we can make sure that we get them answered. And while we do that, we're going to go ahead and plug everything we need to plug for call to action and all of that good stuff. Billy, anything you got going on this week? Anything like that?
No, never. No.
Just talking shit.
I already plugged Schmoebaits. That's my that's about as I won't be on there because Mike Kalinowski's my mortal enemy. But, Shannon's my queen, so you know that's a
Shannon's a badass also.
So you're really confused right now, then you know.
Mortal enemies of Mike.
Beyond, that's right. That's a thing too.
It is a thing. Yep, Paul. Let them know what we have going on coming up.
We have a couple things going on. I'll plug something first myself. And Billy, you should plug this too. But Billy's going to be a guest on Class Action this week with me and Richard Derek Jarvie. We're having a very special episode where we're going to predict the Oscars, tell what we think is going to win, what we want to win. And that's going to be on probably Saturday on the Action Industries YouTube channel. We're filming Friday morning on that. That we got going on. But in this channel, for Chill, we have the next 2 weeks scheduled out. Next Sunday, it's going to be a special Sunday. We have 3 weeks scheduled?
Yeah.
I don't even know the third one. So
yes, you do. Keep going.
Okay, well, you're going to have to tell me the third one. I know 2 weeks ahead. I know that next week on a special Sunday, we're going to have the one and only, Rachel knows her very well now, her den mother, Kate Mulligan, on our show.
That's right.
The Kate's mom ever?
The Kate's mom ever. I love her so much. She's the best.
So we're very much looking forward to that episode. That should be a fun one. And the week after that, I'm going to talk to him and make sure he gets on Molly as well, because we're going to bring on Mark Ellis for a special episode of Chill.
Oh, God. Just, you think I talk. you think that we laugh.
2.5 hours.
We're like 3 hours for this because he's, oh, man, you can't talk to him and not laugh.
Absolutely.
He's just like the funniest.
Mark Ellis is one of my favorite person to talk to, like in person, because he just like looks into your eyes and just like gets into your soul. So
Dreamweaver.
I will say that too. With Mark Ellis, you talk to Mark Ellis, he's one of the people who genuinely listens to you. Like, you know, he's not gonna just like blow you off in small chat. Like he'll say something and then like 5 months later he'll come up and he'll bring it up and talk to you about it. It was like the smallest thing, and really genuinely just one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life.
So great.
Sorry, Paul, I wasn't listening to you.
You never. Billy, on the other hand, is a fuckwit, but that's okay. We love him anyway.
I at least know who the third guest is, but Danny, why don't you go ahead and tell us who the third guest is?
The next guest on the 24th is my favorite manager coming on for this season, Mr. Winston Marshall.
Okay.
Yeah, I need
the
to
swaggiest and blurs.
I didn't know that was confirmed. I didn't know that was in the works. But I didn't know that was confirmed.
Sweet. Paul doesn't read my message, obviously.
Well. But anyway, what else we got going on this show?
Got a stacked month for Chill to Action, so we are very, very pumped for that, y'all.
Yes, very much so.
And also coming up next Sunday, we have Ladies Night coming back with myself, Miss Kelsey Kins, who is in the background of the chat. Thank you so much for doing your mods, girl. We love you. And the one and only Alex Stoshak, Mac Daddy herself, coming in with a very special guest Sunday, y'all. We have the one, the only, the mama of Call to Action, Miss Kim DiNuzzo.
Kim. I love her so
Somehow they talked her into it. I had to try. I don't like it,
but I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't know if she would do it for me either. Even so, but that's okay.
It's true. We got Kim coming in. So once again, y'all, please make sure that you get your questions in. We're going to start answering those questions right now. Paul is going to start wrangling some of those in so we can get them on screen. If you have anything that you want to ask Rachel, go ahead and ask right now.
And I will ask one more thing before we do that. We actually never got to Kevin Smith. I'm going to see the Roadshow reboot this Friday.
I am so jealous.
My sister gave it to me for Christmas. I'm so psyched. So psyched.
Wait, you're going to see the Roadshow?
Yes.
Like with Jay.
With Kevin and Jay and then the movie. So I'm excited.
I feel like I shouldn't be as jealous as other people because before they started the tour and before it like really got released, they did a screening of it in Burbank at the AMC. And I went, obviously, and I ended up sitting 2 seats away from Steve Coogan, who is from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Yeah. He's the one who does the dishes. He's like amazing. He has a guest role in Reboot. So it was packed theater. It was a Legion M screening. And we're sitting there, and I am obviously just like, my body is humming because I'm so excited to see this. And it's everything I have wanted in my life. Like, this was like another end game for me. And all of a sudden, like, out of my side vision in the tunnel, I just see this guy wearing this purple jacket and jorts, and I like start crying. And it's Kevin, and he like walks down to the front, like introduces the movie, and like does a few like Q&A questions and stuff, and he's like so chill. And I'm just sitting there like trying not to audibly sob because it just means so much. The fuck? Did somebody's cat just die?
I don't know what that was, actually. I don't know.
My balls.
No.
Your mics.
It was the howling of the wind.
But yeah, so it wasn't my wind. That was not a howl on my end. But yeah, so he was sitting there, like Steve like reached over and like touched my arm. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm just happy." So like I didn't get to do the road show because I actually their show in LA that I had great tickets to that I legitimately could not give away. Nobody wanted them. Like I was like it literally got down to like 4 or 5 hours before the show was supposed to start, and I was like, literally anybody who can go, just take my tickets and go and have a great time. And no one took me up on them, and I was so upset that they just went to waste. But that was the same night that we closed in El Paso for John Leguizamo, so I was like a little bitter, but like super happy to like get to close it out with John. So it was fun. But yeah, it's amazing. I am like, people are very drawn out on it, but yeah, people are very divided on it. But I think that, and somebody else said it, but 2019 was just literally littered with movies that are considered love letters to fans.
Okay.
And that to me was one of them.
Well, that's perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly fine. So, all right.
Very nice. So before we move on really quickly, I do also want to shout out a new show that we have on the Call to Action Network, Call to the Fan Leagues. Episode 2 is coming on with Full Metal Trivia on Friday. So anyone who's a part of the Fan Leagues or watches the Fan Leagues or wants to get to know more about the Fan Leagues that are a part of the Schmoedown, please check into the only show about the Fan Leagues on the Call to Action Network on Friday with Adelaide Spence doing that, hosting that, all of that good stuff. So please definitely make sure to check that in because that is a new show that we are trying to push and get out there, and we would love for all of y'all to check that out.
Minor leagues of the Schmoedown. By the way, I just heard that howling was actually Christian howling in pain because he realized that Rachel's a lot stronger than he is and might actually whoop his ass in Schmoedown.
Don't start shit.
That's what I've heard. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know.
Paul, you can't like put the finger into like when you have headphones on. It doesn't work that way.
It really works as a headpiece. Somebody else is actually talking to me in here. So
let me talk into my microphone.
I'm just getting the smell from the audio.
We have to find out though, huh? All right, here we go. Rosemary's Baby or Sophie's Choice? We can give all those we had. So.
Oh, I wish I had. Okay, so it's been a weird little bit that I always get to pull out a book for something for some reason, and I do have Rosemary's Baby, but it's all the way over there in my kitchen. No.
They're both just like horrible, like not horrible movies, but like emotional and just ripping. I'm gonna go with Sophie's Choice.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Megs, one of our new Action Army members who we love.
Megs is so great.
So awesome. We love Megs. What do you most want your manager to do for you during matches?
I need them to know the rules so that I can focus on my match. I need them to be the ones who are listening closely to my opponent's answers to make sure that they said them correctly, because that has happened a lot in the past where someone like the Ningo situation that Mike had, even though it was written down, like things like that get said a lot that don't necessarily get picked up on. Like there's a lot of times where I'm watching matches and I'm just watching them. And somebody says something, and I'm like, whoa, wait, did they say ing or Like, there's a difference, and like that's what I need. I need my managers to be like the nitpicky versions of me. So yeah, and also just be there to like help me strategize and like know the game, know the league, know the players, understand how I deal with stress, and like make sure that I'm not freaking out over something stupid. Remind me to take it one question at a time. Like just be. I need them to be my Jiminy, and just like keep me going down the straight arrow.
That's a Disney reference, y'all.
In case you didn't know.
There you go. Honey, there you go. Camshaft wants to know if you have any funny stories of Hannah as a roommate. I'll take one of those.
The Hot Man.
The Hot Man.
Hot Man. Not really funny. I mean, like we have funny moments where we're just like hanging out and making each other laugh. Like honestly, this living situation is amazing. I've got Alex, Marsonia, and Brandon Hannah are roommates of mine. So literally, this apartment is just the den. Like,
nice.
We're all in the den, so we're all just yep. And that was even when we were living at the old apartment. But yeah, we. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but Brandon used to be sitting in his room, like either with you guys, like chatting with you guys, and I'd be watching from the living room on like a 20-second delay, and he would say something, and I'd just yell at him, and like for people watching, it would seem like completely out of nowhere, but in my time, it was like lives, and I would like run in and like harass him. Mainly just hug him because I'm a hugger, and I love making people feel uncomfortable. In a safe way. No.
Rachel Silvestrini hugs are the best hugs.
They're pretty
I'm
gold.
Literally right here. I'm literally.
Billy gives really good hugs too.
Right.
I've had a Billy hug and it was pretty epic.
It's true.
But it's when they're like.
Rachel was there for my epic dance contest with the random.
Oh my god! I almost forgot that happened. That was a very late night. I think that was like 4:00 in the morning.
I think it was.
Oh my god, that dance off. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Holy shit.
That guy was not ready.
Like with a puppy tilt, just like, what is happening? Yeah, exactly. Just yeah, no, Brandon's great. We make each other laugh. Like we're constantly laughing in this apartment, so it's really nice and chill. And I helped him study for his matches, and he's helping me study for mine. And Alex gets involved, and we're just like a really good team here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like.
Jack D. Manheim wants to know where you rank his first evening with Kevin Smith among his filmography.
See, I don't count it with his filmography. Like those are one-man shows to me, and so those are kept like separate but equal in my mind. And I love everything he does. Honestly, well, not everything. There are a few things we don't talk about or acknowledge. But no, I love that first evening with Kevin Smith. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so good. I actually had a memory pop up on Facebook a few days ago where one of my best friends and I went to go see one of his. I think it was Jay and Silent Bob Are Getting Old. We went to see it at a movie theater in New York, and literally both of us posted like we almost threw up because we were laughing so hard. Like, legit, we got so excited to go see it. We like got a big old bag of popcorn and like some sodas. And we're sitting there. We're like just eating and stuffing our faces. And then we started laughing. And I'm like, I think I'm going to throw up. Like, oh my God. Like, it was so funny. We were laughing so hard. Like, just literally like streams of mascara down our face. It was so great.
All right. Brian Nussman wants to know how good your partner is without spoiling anything. Have you talked to him? Do you know how good he actually is?
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, all right.
Pretty damn good.
We're a fan of the Bandit on this podcast.
I mean, he's been hanging out working for the Schmoedown for a while now. Like, he knows the game. He knows the players. Like, he's just now getting experience sitting at the desk and answering the questions, whereas before he was just standing off screen or like off the side, like answering them with a bunch of us. So he's great. Yeah.
Not a question, but I want to say Eric is in here saying that he made it for the end of the interview. Happy to see him. Eric, I don't know if you heard it, but we're talking Christian versus Rachel in a Schmoedown competition. Do you think you can make an epic promo of that? Just
Oh my
curious.
God.
Rachel said she was
I know you're
crush
busy. I know you're busy, but I just want to throw it out there. You got to shoot your shot sometimes. Just let us know what your availability is.
Oh my God. I mean, talk about a real star of the Schmoedown, honestly. Like, Eric is such a rock star. He puts I am sad that he's not competing because I think that he would do really well. But like, dude, your promos and everything you do for this is it's so appreciated, and so it literally is what is taking this game to another level. So thank you so much for all of the hard work that you do and all the hard work you're going to do, because this season is gonna kill all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big shout out to Eric for that, because we did have a joke on Twitter. Eric and I had a joke about how he was gonna make me a 30-second Schmoedown reel for like dates. Like,
Oh my God, yes!
and that's basically what the season 7 promo is.
Oh my God.
So shout out. It's perfect.
Kenny, do yourself a favor, go back and watch like video dating from like the 60s and 70s. Dude, when you're like, seriously, just put that on like a loop at a party and just grab your remote, put on YouTube, and just put those things on. It is guaranteed entertainment.
That's all I'm gonna watch on Valentine's Day while I'm home alone eating popcorn, drinking
And
tequila.
just be like, I'm okay with being single. This is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
A friend of mine found her dad on one of those things. Oh yeah. Oh, Father's Day is never going to be the same for him.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston was on one.
Bryan Cranston?
Either he was on one or he used to film them. He talked about it on a talk show. I think it was on the Graham Norton show.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
How he was on those.
No, I think he used to film them.
I love
Oh, okay, he used to film them. But I think he did one because like they needed an extra one or something like that.
Yeah.
Practice sweater to fill it. All right.
Amazing.
Camshaft wants to know, like, maybe run down the list of some of the bands you've worked
Oh,
with.
Jesus. Well, I did Warped Tour for like 8 summers. So that's like 300 bands right there.
What 8 summers? Because I used to go to Warped Tour during the summer.
I did just the California dates in 2005. I did 2006, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, 15. 2015. I think
Wow.
those were the years. I don't know. My past isn't bad as like somewhere in my room. But yeah,
one of my ex-boyfriends used to do, he used to kind of manage a band that was on Warped Tour. Set Your Goals was.
Oh, I love those babies.
Yes. So Set Your Goals. So I got to go on Warped Tour a couple of times for that. That was a lot of fun. I actually got to meet Hayley Williams and Katy Perry when Katy Perry was on Warped Tour.
That was was that the summer? Was that her first summer? Was that the summer of I Kissed a Girl?
Yes.
She went that summer. She went from side stage to having nobody know who she was to main staging it and like.
I played dice with Katy Perry.
Oh, I beat her in a dance off.
Get it, girl.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
Beat her in a dance off backstage, Virginia Beach.
Nice.
That was fun. It was really sad because everybody thought that she was such a bitch because she never like would come out and hang out with us, but like she was so busy that summer doing like press and interviews that like if she wasn't performing, she was on her bus or at the media section like doing interviews. She was so busy. I felt so bad, but I became really good friends with some of the guys in her band that are like the nicest dudes who then ended up going on to play for 303.
Nice. 303.
303. I love those guys. Oh, Nat and Sean are just the best.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Warped Tour is a very hazy time of my life. But actually, somebody mentioned in one of the, I think it was the SEN Live Facebook group, how they want to get Spencer from that's not Icy Stars. Fuck. I know Spencer, if you're watching this, I know you're not an Icy Stars. You're not a
the horror. They did a horror album.
Yeah. I mean, that's all they do. And why can't I remember their name right now? Oh, I'm so angry. If somebody knows, pop it up in the chat. But they did. He is such a great. He has such incredible horror movie knowledge, and like some of their albums were Ice Nine Kills. Thank you, Doug. Ice Nine Kills. Yeah, they actually were on Warped Tour because of me. Not even joking. They were friends. They were friends with another group called Phone Calls from Home, whose one of their band members' older brothers was in a band that I basically like adopted the year before, and like would let them leave their stuff in reverse daycare with me. And then like the next year I got a call from them and they were like, hey, our younger brother's band and like another band are like doing what we did, and just can you watch out for them? And so like I got them, like I would check them in every now and then, or like make sure they got fed, because like baby bands don't, like they were literally a pirate band. Like they would just follow the tour and not have passes or tickets. And so I would feed them and stuff. And so, yeah, it was fun. But Spencer is a good boy and he's super nice. And a friend of mine is engaged to their bassist, I think. So I would love to get Spencer to like do like a horror off with Bibiani and Haley. And I think that'd be amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd love to get some of those like punk rock musicians like into the studio while they're on tour.
Hell yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay, this is a question I can't pop up on the screen because it's actually too far back in our chat, but I found it earlier. Jeremy Miller wanted to know if there was anything from wrestling that's going to be inspiring your Schmoedown character more as you develop. Anything specifically?
I think so. I mean, there's a lot of really amazing female wrestlers. I don't watch WWE. I just watch AEW. So Chris Statlander is amazing, and I think she's so weird. She plays this alien, and she like boops people on the nose. It's the cutest thing. Like that's how she talks. She like pushes her nose and then like touches somebody else's. It's so sweet. But she's a badass. And then there's Big Swole, who is just, she's so tiny, but she is just like this power keg of just muscle. But everybody comes out, and there's Britt Baker, who is apparently now a heel. She's insulting Tony Schiavone, which is not okay because he is a legend. But she cuts a promo that's super great. So I've been going back and watching a lot of those things, and just kind of like figuring out what my character is for this season and how it fits in with everything else and who I'm supposed to be going after. So that has a lot to do with it. So Yes. Oh my God. Orange Cassidy is the best. You guys don't know who Orange Cassidy is? He literally does like the absolute nothing. His big move is to put his hands up in the air into his pockets and then like playfully tap the person in front of him with like on their shins with his feet. And people, like lose their mind. It's the funniest thing. Oh my God.
He does a tope suicida with his hands in his pockets. It's a suicide dive. It's through the top and middle ropes.
Yeah.
With his hands in his pockets.
And with sunglasses on. Like, I don't understand this. He's the cool, and he like does this like everything is kind of like half-assed. Like he doesn't give a thumbs up. It's like it's this. He does this.
Yeah.
He does the politician point.
He's like, yeah, but like not like that's way too high energy for him. For him, it's
yeah.
And like he puts sunglasses on and like a jean jacket. He's amazing.
He's perfect with good friends too.
Oh yeah, I would love to be an Orange Cassidy in this league. That sounds amazing. But yeah, I mean, I pull from wrestling, I pull from movie characters, things all like that. So it'll be interesting to see what this year produces.
Okay, Robert Adams, one of our favorite. This is a guy who was snubbed from the awards, definitely.
Hashtag Texas
That was
forever.
a huge snub. Love you guys.
Actually,
We love
snub, not Rob.
Christian definition snub. Not. What do you think will win the Best Picture at the Oscars, or who do you think?
Think will win.
Yes.
Um,
You can go through who you want to. We'll throw that in there.
I think 1917 is going to win.
Ugh.
I mean, it was a beautiful movie. It had me on the edge of my seat. Like it was so wonderfully done. And getting to like watch all of those like behind the scenes videos are fascinating. Like the scene that they did where he's running through at night through the town. With like the
firework
and all that stuff. Like it was, and then you see it how it was originally shot before they like screwed with like the lighting and everything. Oh my gosh, it's amazing what they did. I know this is people are gonna hate me for this. I actually just watched Parasite yesterday.
Oh, I still haven't seen it, so
it's okay. Like it's a movie. I didn't really see what it was very well done. The story was
about to disown you as a roommate right now.
I know, right?
He loves that movie.
Probably shouldn't talk so loud. But no, like I can see why it just didn't hit that note for me, I guess. Okay. But yeah, I think the Academy is going to give it to 1917.
I do too. To be honest with you.
I know people are going to hate me for this. There's no way that the Irishman should have been nominated. That movie is pure trash.
Wait, which hour of it?
All of it. So, if I want to watch a good movie with any of those guys in it, there are
Goodfellas. Just go watch Goodfellas.
Yeah, just go watch Goodfellas or Casino or The Godfather or anything. Like I would rather watch The Devil's Advocate on 24-hour loop than watch that movie. Nothing. I love that movie, but like
you can touch Hoffman and Keanu. I'm waiting for the bad parts.
It's a great
people think that it's Pacino's like worst movie, and I'm like, I don't care. I still like it. It's fun.
Have they seen The Irishman?
Yeah, right. There are so many better Scorsese movies and so many better performances and movies and roles that each of those actors, all of those actors have played. That I'm just like, it's a watered down version of all of those movies congealed together.
It's kind of like we were talking about before. It's a love letter to the previous generation.
No, because I loved those movies, and now I'm just like, oh. I think my tweet said it was like watching an 80-year-old with ED try and masturbate for 3 hours.
Fair enough.
Like, if they want to hang out, they have each other's numbers. Just fucking hang out. I don't need to watch that for 3.5 hours because you guys want like to relive the glory days. Like, find something good.
Chris Adams, the other Cinefanatic, wants to know, can you put a good word into the Den Mother? When she's ready to drop 2 players, she knows who to pick up.
Well, I will say this. We do have an open spot. I don't know if this was made. I don't know how many people knew about this, but I know it got announced. But our other I cannot remember her name for the life of me, and I feel
Diana
so.
Demijohn.
Yeah, Diane got dropped. Not dropped, but she backed out.
Right.
She realized that her work was starting to pick up at a faster pace. She is like a writer and producer for like Netflix TV shows and stuff like that. She's amazing. But she realized that she wasn't going to be able to commit to what all of this requires, and so she very graciously backed out. And so now we have an opening. So if I will say this, Chris, we do have like 3 teams on our faction. I would love to get you on any team. Honestly, like I would love for you to be in the den, but I just want you guys to compete because you guys are phenomenal, and I want you to come and hang out as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Star Drew wants to know what your favorite pizza is.
Favorite pizza?
Yeah.
Ooh. In Minneapolis, there is a place called Pizza Luce, and they have the most amazing vegan pies. Like to the point where one of my oldest friends lives there, and whenever he picks me up from the airport, on our way home, there is a very specific exit that once we get there, I know it's time to call Pizza Luce, and they literally will greet me by name because the phone number pops up with like all of your customer history on the computer in front of them, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey Rachel, how have you been? How's your tour been going?" Like they have all of these amazing notes for me, and they're just like the nicest people ever. And they're like, "So you're regular?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they just deliver it, and it's like the most amazing thing. And they have like, it's like vegan sausage and onions and barbecue sauce and jalapenos and pineapple. It is delicious and tangy and hot and spicy. It is amazing. And yes, Frank, it's still on. I love Robert saying that I'm on. It will always be going on. It's true. We are closing in about 2 hours. I'm so sorry, guys. I talked so much.
Nerdcross, he's going to see what he's going to do. I think it's about the Christian Schmoedown, Christian Rachel promo. So we'll go with that. That would be awesome.
It'll be amazing.
Yeah, he's not busy or anything.
Not busy at all.
Matches.
Hey, you never know. You can ask. You know what I'm saying? I just had one else. We're going to start wrapping up soon. I think I saw at least one more question. I got to scroll down. Doug Castle wants to know My Chemical Romance or Fallout Boy.
Ooh, rough. I did see Fallout Boy played at 12 people when they were opening for Armor for Sleep, so that's how far back my fandom goes with them. We're talking
Armor for Sleep. This was way back in the day. I used to pronounce it Armor for Sleep just
because it's got the U.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago. Okay, that's it. That's my rant.
Shit. Armor for Sleep or My Chem. Oh wait, no, sorry, Fall Out Boy or My Chem. I'm probably gonna go Fall Out Boy.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, if we're gonna go like emo, let's do like the ultimate emo, where you Dashboard Confessional or Death Cab for Cutie.
Dashboard in my soul. Holy crap! I got to go see them. I got to go see Chris like 3 years ago. And I happened to like I at this point I just know everybody in the industry apparently, and like there's his sound guy was a friend of mine from Warped Tour, because once you do Warped Tour, like everyone is instantly family. And so he like let us hang out in the sound booth with him, and like we lost our ever loving minds, and it was so much fun. Like when you hear Screaming Infidelities start to play in a crowd of people in their 30s, you're instantly transformed back into like their late teens, and like it is group therapy all over again. Like that's what I used to call their concerts. It was group therapy. Everybody literally just like,
you just did it to me by saying it right now.
No, right? Like you hear the song in your head, and it's amazing. I love Death Cab, I really do, but like, dude, I went and saw them one time at a festival, and it was like they were like the 5th band on, and I wasn't moving from the front, and I like kept passing out while they were playing. Like they were amazing, and I love Dustin, but like, no, it's definitely Dashboard.
And last one again.
Fun, really quickly. I'm sorry.
Band called what?
Good, Clean, Fun.
Oh, I thought you said fun. I'm like, of course. Have you heard of the format? Fun. It rings a bell, but it's not like a big one.
They were never big at all. It's a straight edge pop punk band from like a billion years ago that has really good music. If you ever go back and listen to Good Clean Fun, it's great. Sorry. Okay.
Oh my gosh, done.
I'm gonna send you stuff.
Send me a link. Yeah.
Peanut Butter Falcon or Honey Boy?
Uh,
Battle of Shia LaBeouf.
I actually haven't seen either of them. I have the screeners to see them literally this week. Like they're literally like two in the next two in the queue. But I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to say, as of right now, it's Peanut Butter Falcon because it has Mick Foley in it. So
and Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake, yeah. Oh, Jake the Snake, poor Jake. He's had a rough life.
He has. He really has.
DDP Yoga saved him.
That's true.
DDP Yoga did save him. I hope it can save his son. His son's behaving like an ass right now.
And this is, and this from crowd. This is not a question. Actually, just want to let you know. No, we're not spelling the Hitman wrong in the clutch hat. This is a running joke we've had when Jake Iacovetta, our friend Jake Iacovetta, actually accidentally in a chat typed. It was initially a typo. He typed "hot man."
It was a Freudian slip,
and we have not let him live it down since. And now Brandon kind of calls himself the hot man.
The hot man.
Well, to be fair,
the year of the hot man.
Year of the hot man.
Drew and Ben did hop on it like no
real quick.
They were like, "Oh, we're in on this." We're like, "Okay, cool."
There is no one who hops on a nickname faster than Ben Bateman.
It's true.
You are so right.
Unless it's one for him.
So much.
Can I tell you that I initially, I mean, I know this is kind of a topic now. When I coined Bagel Boy, I sent a Schmoedown in to send live about Bagel Boy. Ben Bateman, within 30 seconds of that Schmoebot, tweeted out, "Bagel Boy, that's gonna stick," and like he just totally went with it ever since. Literally. And here we are, wherever how many months later.
But Ben Bateman always makes a mistake of revealing things to me, or when I'm in the chat, they come back to haunt him.
That's true.
Like a certain name that he'd rather like if someone called him that, he wouldn't care. He wouldn't care if it's Bagel Boy, and that's what we're gonna chant at him in Atlanta.
Dick farts. That's his.
Like, what was the one from after New York? Oh, was that name?
Dick farts. That's Ben Bateman's.
Like, what are you doing, buddy? You knew I was in the chat. Like,
just like that's how you posted that picture that Billy just snapped it up and made T-shirts out of. So,
the greatest T-shirt ever made.
I don't condone it.
Bad visual, like.
So good, so good. All right, well, Danny.
Y'all, it has been 2 hours with our wonderful and great, the queen of call to action right now, Rachel Silvestrini. We love you so much. Thank you so much, babe.
You're more than welcome. I feel so bad for always making this run like super long.
I could go for 3 more hours. I love talking to you, honestly. Like I really could. So.
Yes, Rachel, thank you for coming in.
We need to do a marathon one day and just like.
We've done
like I'll be on the whole time. You guys can like come and go as you need to.
You stick around long enough, Jarby will get up. Jarby will get up and he can start jumping on.
We'll just put nanny cams of our dogs on there with you, and you can tell them what good boys they are.
Your dogs.
They're such good boys and girls.
7 hours of Rachel telling dogs what good boys they are.
Break our call to action record. Thank you so much, Rachel. Is there anything that you want to plug or get us in the know for right now?
No, but if you guys aren't like, I understand that money is tight, but like if the $10 tier this year is going to be extreme, I highly recommend getting in on it. Also, like watch all the matches, like all the matches, forward them to people that you know or think will enjoy them. Regardless, send them older links if you. Where are you? I miss you. Come in the apartment. I'm so weirded out right now.
It's the hot man.
The hot man is here.
But yeah, just support as best you can, however you can. Keep interacting. Keep being amazing on the Facebook pages. I know that there was that whole thing about us not interacting with you guys, but like. Just be nice, be kind, be excellent to each other, guys. Like, be super cool. And we are so grateful to have you guys. Thank you so much for this. Follow me and the Den on Facebook or on Twitter. You can find both the links to the Den on my Twitter, which is RM Silvestrini. You can find me on Instagram at the same handle. Don't add me on Facebook because if we're not actual friends, I will not add you. But I am super active on all of the pages. So
Very true.
Yes.
Very true.
That is right. Y'all know where to find me. You can find me on Twitter at Danie Joy. You can find me here every Monday with my lovely co-host, Mr. Paul DiNuzzo, hanging out. We got some good stacked up shows for you coming this month. We cannot wait. We are super excited for everyone on the Call to Action channel, for everyone in the Action Army, for Ben and Drew, our lovely dads. All of that good stuff. We love you. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for hanging out with us tonight, for going this long with us tonight. Thank you so much, y'all. We love you. We can't wait to see you next week. We will see you coming up on the Call to Action show. Thank you so much, y'all. We
salute you.
You.